Today is Wednesday, July 28th, 2021. I'm Brew Krabs coming to you with your monthly market update for July, covering data up through the end of the month of June 2021. This data comes to us from the Atlanta Board of Realtors, and it covers the Atlanta metro market. So that being said, I'm going to kind of dive right into the numbers today because the market is always changing and it's always an interesting place to be. And here's a little bit about what we're seeing right now in the marketplace. Right now in Atlanta, we saw in the month of June, we saw 7,637 sales. We saw 8,739 active listings. That's a 1.3 months worth of supply, keeping in mind that a normal market is 6 months worth of supply. Average price was up again at $452,500. New listings that came in were around 9,636, and the median sales price again was up again last month at $372,500. I want to talk a little bit about the total sales for the month of June. As they came through, it was a 2% increase over 2020. So that means over the same period of last year, it increased about 2% more. Now, what's really interesting, if you look at the month before, you saw a 27.5% increase. So that means that the number of sales are slowing down just a little bit. We're starting to see things change in the marketplace. Buyers are not quite as intense on purchasing these homes that have gone up into these higher prices. Because if you look at what's going on with the median sales price over the same period since 2020, you're looking at a 26.3% increase there. Your median sales price is now around $372,500. Very similar thing for what you saw last month in the median sales price. Again, about a 27.4% increase year over year to 363, and then you saw it, of course, go up even further this month. So you saw it go up just about $11,000. So that's what, just about a 1.2 or 3% increase month over month from the May report through the June report, which is the May data, to the July report, which is the June data. So you're seeing prices increase about 1% per month right this minute. And that's holding true very similarly in the median sales price. You saw it up 30.9% last month. This year it's up 28.2% to 452. Last month was 444. So you got about an $8,000 increase there in your average sales price. Again, probably looking, that's about 2% on that particular number. What's also very interesting in what's going on in the market right now is inventory is starting to increase. You see how it kind of really went way down, and we really kind of hit a bottom there right around one month's worth of inventory in May, and now you're starting to see it tick back up. That's because buyer purchases are slowing down versus the rate of properties that are coming on the market. More supply is coming in, more new construction is now coming online. More folks are selling their homes or putting them on the market. Less buyers are going out there and putting that additional money out there. Prices have gotten so high. So that's starting to level out. We're starting to see things become a little bit more of what we call a normal market. We haven't seen that for a very long time. So I expect we're going to start to see those trends to continue. There's talk also that the Fed is probably going to hasten the measure of increasing short-term rates, which, while it doesn't directly affect long-term rates, will in the long run have some effect on those. We fully expect the long-term rates to increase over the next couple of years, making buying power a little bit less because we're seeing so much inertia here. We have seen in active listings, we actually saw 40.1% decrease from 2020. So that means less homes are actually coming out there on the market versus what we saw coming last year. So that means that less is available, of course, and of course we've seen that all year long. We saw the same thing last month I think I've got the market slide for that. We saw a 50% decrease last month in the active listings. So the inventory is still slower, but you can see it went from a 50% decrease to only a 40% decrease this month. So that's a net increase of 10%, bringing 10% more than what we saw last month in what our inventory was. That with the reduced demand from the buyers is starting to slow the market down, starting to make those crazy price increases. We'll start to see those slow down a little bit. And it's starting to make things normalize just a little bit. So there's some real hope out there for our buyers. If you're thinking about buying, rates are still extremely low. So maybe the purchase, the amount that you can purchase for what you're borrowing is very strong right now. It's a great opportunity. Prices will continue to increase, but it's actually healthy for it to start leveling out. That means we're not going to see that boom, blow up crash like what we saw in 2007. It means things are now starting to be a little bit more realistic. Also, if you look at our new listings, there was a 2.7% increase from 2020, and that's sort of indicative in that 10% change that we saw from last month to this month over the whole scheme of things. So a few more listings are actually coming into the market right now, but you're not seeing that super high buyer demand like we've been seeing throughout the first part of this year. What's also very interesting to look at is what's going on with interest rates. This particular week, we saw them drop down just a little bit. Look at that, 3.04%. No, that's not a whole lot, down from 3.110. You saw your 15-year fix also drop just a little bit. But then you saw your adjustables go up because I think everybody's expecting those short-term rates, which most of that is based off of, to increase. Saw a little bit of a drop in the jumbo rate. Of course, that's the long-term loan for homes that are over $548,000 or loans that are over $548,000. Rates are still super fantastic though. So if you're thinking about buying a house, it's still super cheap money, way cheaper than what you can rent for, especially for our first-time home buyers. We've got some fantastic programs, down payment assistance programs, FHA programs, great low-down conventional programs, especially in parts of Atlanta where we work. There are a lot of great options to purchase your home and really save yourself a ton over what you're paying in rent each month. Plus, not even to talk about the tax deductions from interest and those kinds of things. So if you have thought about buying or selling, of course, as I always say, every market is local. It's important that you talk with an expert in that specific market. We do work with the top agents across the country and really across the globe. So if you're not looking at Atlanta, we can find you the right partner there as well. But here in Atlanta, if you're thinking about either one of those things, please, we're more than happy to talk to you about it and help you figure out what's the best course of action and how to maximize your real estate experience. So for today, that is our monthly recap of what's going on in the Atlanta real estate market with data brought to us from the Atlanta Board of Realtors, which we greatly appreciate. They do a fantastic job. It's wonderful being affiliated with them. If you have any questions, of course, always reach out to us. Otherwise, have a wonderful and fantastic day.